Ever wonder why some people seem to thrive on conflict? It's not always a sign of a contentious spirit. Sometimes it's a deeply ingrained unconscious habit known as conflict creation. This is the act of creating conflict as a means to connect with others. Strange, isn't it? But it's more common than you might think. Many of us unknowingly manufacture discord in our everyday interactions. It can be as subtle as a passive-aggressive comment or as glaring as a full-blown argument. It's a way of engaging, a way of being noticed, a way of feeling important. In essence, it's a misguided attempt to establish a connection, to feel a sense of belonging. However, this habit often does more harm than good, souring relationships and causing unnecessary stress. The good news? It's not a life sentence. Recognizing this habit is the first step towards breaking it. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into this topic, revealing signs, behaviors, and how to turn this habit around. Now that we understand what conflict creation is, how can we identify it in ourselves and others? Let's dive into the signs and behaviors often associated with this unconscious habit. One of the most common signs is constant arguing. For some, disagreements may be the only way they know how to connect or communicate with others. They may pick fights over the smallest things, unable to let a single matter slide. This constant state of conflict can be draining, leaving everyone around them feeling exhausted and on edge. Another behavior to look out for is the perpetual playing of the victim role. Individuals who habitually create conflict often feel like the world is against them. They may frequently complain or express feelings of being misunderstood or unfairly treated. This can be a manipulative tactic designed to gain sympathy or control over others. Feeling perpetually misunderstood is another sign of conflict creation. These individuals may insist that no one understands their perspective or feelings. They often believe they are the sole bearers of truth, dismissing differing opinions and ideas. This tendency to shut down communication can turn every interaction into a battleground. Remember, these behaviors can be subtle and often go unnoticed. They might be masked as a strong personality or a passionate disposition, but beneath the surface, they can erode relationships and create a toxic environment. However, it's crucial to remember that identifying these behaviors is not an invitation to judge or criticize. Rather, it's a call to understand and empathize. We all have our struggles, and for some, conflict creation is a coping mechanism, a survival tool they've picked up along the way. So what can we do about it? Well, the first step is awareness. Recognition of these signs in ourselves and others is the starting point towards change. It paves the way for us to develop better habits of effective, caring, and compassionate communication. Being aware of these signs can help us identify when we or others fall into the trap of conflict creation. After all, the journey to healthier relationships begins with understanding, not just of others, but of ourselves as well. But what can we do once we've identified these behaviors in ourselves or others? Well, the first step is to transform this unconscious habit into a conscious one. We need to shine a light on it, make it visible, and recognize it for what it is. Think of it as flipping a switch in your mind. Suddenly, you're not just reacting on autopilot, you're making active choices about how you respond. Next, consider strategies for change. One effective approach is to take a step back when you feel the urge to create conflict. Give yourself a moment to breathe, to reflect. Another strategy is practicing empathy. Try to understand the other person's perspective. It's not about winning an argument, it's about understanding each other better. Finally, seek to understand before being understood. This shift in mindset can lead to more meaningful and compassionate conversations. With awareness and practice, we can turn conflict creation into compassionate communication. Let's take a moment to review what we've learned. We've uncovered the often unconscious habit of creating conflict as a means to connect with others. This tendency can be subtle, manifesting in various signs and behaviors. It might show up as a constant need for drama or an incessant urge to contradict and argue. But the good news is, once we recognize this pattern, we can start to change it. We can turn this unconscious habit into a conscious one, choosing effective, caring, and compassionate communication over conflict. It's about catching ourselves in the act and choosing a different response, a different way of connecting. Remember, the key to change is awareness. It's about noticing these patterns and making a conscious effort to shift them. It won't happen overnight. It takes practice, patience, and a whole lot of self-compassion. So remember, change starts with awareness. Be patient with yourself and others as you work to break the habit of conflict creation.